What's up, congratulators? It's Xavier Garcia again. If you're new, welcome to the Ultimate Psychology channel. Today on this video, we're going to be discussing unprecedented times. This is going to be the greatest opportunity of your life, or one of the greatest, or a great downfall pitfall that's going to forever hold you back from realizing your future dreams and realizing your potential. So it's what you make of it, right? It's the mindset. It's turning the lemons into lemonade. Blah, blah, blah. You've already heard that kind of stuff. But this is serious. We have a pandemic on our hands. It's worldwide. And people are going to come out of this thing marred or jaded and forever changed. And some of us are going to use this to leverage ourselves as a springboard to become better than we ever have before. And it's just like, how can you say that, Xavier? There's so much chaos, so much fear, so many things, real threats that we should take into concern and not have this pie in the sky thinking or this being overly optimistic. And I'm not saying not to really scrutinize what the real threat is or what the real fear or what anything that can cause you harm or hold you back. But we do want to live in faith. We do want to live hopeful, because just by putting us in that positive state begins to change things around to work for your good and starts stacking the deck like dominoes to fall in your favor. And it's not mumbo jumbo. It's not woo-woo stuff. It's you actually taking action and putting things into action and developing the principle that's going to create this kind of manifest this kind of situation for yourself. And you have to be in tune with yourself, with the Holy Spirit, with your inner consciousness, and also taking in the best wisdom, information out there, so that you can make the right choices for yourself. I'm fortunately, thanks to God that I'm in this situation where I'm relatively safe. And I work in a hospital. That's my 9-to-5 job. It's where I'm at today, my current circumstances, my current situation. So I'm actually in a lot more danger than a lot of you. But I'm either super naive and not even paying attention and like oblivious to what's happening, and sometimes ignorance is bliss, or that I'm strong about it and I know what's worked for me in the past, and I know what's going to work for me in the future and what's currently working for me in the present. Now, it is true that, whatever's gotten you to this point is not going to get you to where you're going, but don't get that confused with, what your bread and butter is, and you stick to what makes you a winner, right? When the football team is a ground and pound team, and they run the ball, they run, they score touchdowns that way, and then at the last minute, they want to throw a pass in the end zone, and they get stopped because they're not going. They want to do a trick play, and they don't do what they're best at. They don't, do their strengths. So this takes a lot of personal self-knowledge, knowing who you are, being conscious of that, and making the right moves. So we're all in different situations. Some of us are losing homes, losing jobs, getting kicked out of the street or homeless. Government's trying to support that, trying to provide a situation for you so it's not that bad. But even at the end of the day, regardless of the government, who are you? And if it's just you and your God, if it's just you, yourself, me, myself, and I, and it's just me, it's the man's world, I'm going to take care of myself, how self-reliant are you? What kind of character have you built or developed, or that you're going to? Because you have to, right? Bob Marley said, you never know how strong you can be until strength is your only option. And so some of you are here, some of you are there. Other of us, we're enjoying our lives like a bowl of cherries. We're thankful that we don't have to go to work every day, depending on your situation. And we get to be home with family, enjoy. It's like, thank God I don't have to go back to that job that I hated or I didn't like, that 9-to-5, right? And I get to stay home, collect the unemployment check, even though that's got to come from somewhere, right? Somebody's got to pay that. Regardless of your political beliefs or stance, it's getting paid for, whether you even think it's someone's fair share, all that. You're using this time to maximize and optimize your relationships, your quality of health, to really focus on, get centered, get balanced, start focusing on God again, reading something nutritional for your mind, for your brain, for you to enhance yourself, right? It's really about using every opportunity, any situation, whether it be you deem it good or bad or neutral, to use it for good. And now when we're in those moments, it's kind of hard to tell, okay, is this good or bad? But there's an old story, won't get into it, but just as to, to summarize or to paraphrase kind of what is going on in our lives. We never know if what's happening is good for us or not. in hindsight is always 2020, but we don't have the privilege of that in the presence, right here, right now. So we have to just know that whatever the situation is to make the best of it. And however you make the best of it is unique to you, right? Maybe it's a time to, to be silly, play some board games, do things that you've never really done before, start a channel, be more connected on social media, because that was the way that the world is going anyways. It's going all online, and having these kind of communications like this with Zoom calls, live video chats. And so now you have the opportunity to be more comfortable, more confident on camera than you ever have before. And you're going to use this tool, this asset, for when the world goes back to normal, right? If it ever does, because it's not going to be how the normal we thought it was per se. Some things are going to change. And some people are looking at this as the greatest opportunity of their lifetimes, right? Anytime there's a bear market, when there's a recession, and say stock prices are all really low and everybody's really fearful, somebody's like, boom, there's an opportunity. Because when people are fearful, that's showing them that a need is not being met. And that's an opportunity for you to go step in there and meet that need. And then you become the hero, because then people are free from fear. They have confidence and courage to go out and live a new, better life because they've conquered that fear, because you provided that for them. But when everyone's suppressed and everyone's, misery loves company and each other's bringing each other down because you're all fearful, you don't want to make someone feel bad for feeling fearful, but you want to wake them up, realize them, hey, we can either die like cowards or live like men. And so that's not the choice of the actions that we're going to take. And so some things are going to change, right? Going out, hopefully, for the most part, they are, but life is not a static anyways, right? That's like thinking like the old South, right? That slavery was going to stay permanently. Well, progress doesn't want that. Life doesn't want that. God wants us to be free. He wants us to express ourselves and be in an unlimited relationship with Him. Okay? That's not to say that we don't have situations or problems or challenges that cause us to grow. And even if it's painful and it's difficult, and we feel hopeless at the time or the moment, because we don't know how we can see that these circumstances are actually meant for our good. But sometimes in hindsight, we could look back and be like, oh yeah, it had to be so strong and so overwhelming that it'd take a supernatural or some kind of thing that was like, I broke through, right? Or the glory of God breaking through it and saving the day, that you can give glory to Him. You're not so pounding on your chest, and you have some humility that it's not always up to you, because you don't have that strength anyways. We don't. We're fragile, delicate human beings. Of course, to balance that out, and on the flip side, we are full of potential, unlimited potential, right? But when we're partnering with a God, when we're natural people partnering with a supernatural God, nothing's impossible. So you have to have that eternal perspective, that kind of perspective that puts things where you're outside of the box. And it's difficult to do that. It causes a stretch, and it's just like, oh man, maybe you're overlooking some of the facts and all that. But the facts don't tell the whole truth sometimes, all the time. So that's something I learned along in my life lessons. When you look too closely at something, and you might not connect the dots in the right way, or in the way that's beneficial to you, that's also still true. So unprecedented times. We have an opportunity to use this again to become more resourceful, to connect like never before, or we can succumb to it. And these things are still not even new. Unprecedented times, yeah, it's in our lifetimes, but human history, you look back into human history and it's been terrible, man. This is still the best and greatest time to ever be alive. And you should thank God that you're here, that you have all these opportunities, that we still have food to go around. And your circumstances may be difficult, but it was already probably difficult before. And if it's not, and if you knew how to get yourself to the top, was that a fluke? Because now that everything's taken away from you, how are you going to rebuild from that? There's the saying that if, there's vague figures here, but if 20% of the world's population has 80% of the wealth, you would say like, well, that's a weird ratio, right? It should be all even or dispersed, but it's not that way. But they said if you took the money from those people, all the rich people, and you took it away and then gave them a neutral playing field again, they'd accumulate it back. Is that because they're all greedy? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's because they have the the wealth psychology, a psychology of wealth. They have the skills, they have the experience to know how to do it again. That's why the rich get richer, because they know how to get rich in the first place. You know, and the first million, the first billion is the hardest, right? But once you get there, your mind locks in the pattern of how to do something. I've done this a billion times. I've made $1 before. I've earned it. And I can do it again. And so that's how you stack your money. That's how you stack your paper, right? So by going through these patterns, your brain, your mind is going all through these configurations and the computations, and is trying to see what are the patterns in life that are going to make it successful for me for self-preservation and also to thrive. But we don't want to just say it's self-preservation mode where we're not growing, right? We need to have a sense of security so that we're strong, that we're stabilized. Okay, the world was going real, whiplash real fast. Okay, let's do some mega data research and data analysis. Okay, we know what the situation is. We see how it's spreading. So we always want to keep our pulse and our ear on the street when it comes to that, what the situations are and the circumstances, always. And so now we have that sense of security. And then now how can we have fun with this, right? How can that if I'm going to be stuck in a quarantine for a certain amount of time, I always see this meme on social media, and it says if you had to live in this house for 3 months or a month with no da-da-da, would you do it if at the end someone gave you $10,000? Now, depending on your income level, $10,000 might not be a month. You make more than $10,000 a month. Or it'd be like, yes, because you barely make, $2,000 a month or whatever. So, now we all have that meme has come to fruition where we're all homebound and we're all grounded here. And it seems like we're on a lockdown, right? It's an American staycation, and we're all in house arrest. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you look at Viktor Frankl, he's a guy, a man who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. And he was a psychologist in the Nazi concentration camps. And he found a way to find meaning in his suffering. And he thought, I'm going to write a book about this event, this situation, the circumstances, so that when I get out of here, I can share my book and my experiences so that people can remember what these times are like, and that they'll be so outraged that it'll never happen again. Right? That's what gave him purpose. So where's your meaning? This super big, huge dream that it's all going to be worth it and that your life is not going in vain. Oh, you think, I'm not good enough. But, that's a cop-out and that's a lie. And yes, there's many factors and forces that are against you. But if God is with you, who can be against you? Right? There's nothing bigger than him. And that you have the ability, the potential to do it. The thing is, if it didn't seem overwhelming, if it didn't seem that you were overloaded with the problem, then how great would the victory be? It'd be whack. It'd be weak. It would be impotent, right? When there's a baseball game and there's 2 outs and 3 3 balls and 2 strikes, and there's that pitch, and then smack, right? They smack it, and it's going, and boop, the guy catches it, saves a home run, and defense won the championship. And it's just surprise, the crowd goes wild, the stadium goes nuts, and the city goes bananas, and it's whoa, that was amazing, because you got that tension, you got that drama, and that's what your story is like. You have a hero's life inside of you that's waiting to be lived. And if you're not, and you're already conquering it, and you're doing it, it's yeah, this is Hercules time, right? You feel like you're the Rock, okay? But more real, not just a stage actor, not just entertainment, not just mythology, but you inside yourself. You have that incredible hope within inside you. Much love to the Rock. He's a real deal. So great inspiration of mine. But for when people idolize people and they look up to they have their hero worship, they have these idols, these icons, and it's they let those people do it for them, and they live vicariously through those people. But you have a rock within you. You have, as a Christian, Jesus Christ living in you. So embrace that superhero power within yourself. And if it's not there, you never discovered it, it's time to go deeper, because if you don't, you're going to get consumed, and you're going to get overwhelmed, and you get sucked inside yourself, right? It's a black hole that's pulling you, and it wants you to be blinded and to be all focused in on yourself, and to commit suicide or something like that. It wants you to take your life. These dark, evil, natural forces, but those are just lies and deceit. So I don't want you to fall for that false truth. So look around, take a look around your world, have some connectivity, find some significance in what you're doing. That what you're doing, your life matters, even if most people in your world don't think that it matters, but it can matter to you, right? It's about that fish, or that story where they grabbed the starfish, and the boys chucked one into the ocean, and some punk comes around and says, "Hey man, you can't. You think you can save all these starfish? You can't save all these starfish." And then the boy or the girl, whatever, says, "I just saved that one." Right? And that's something. That's that one thing. And that starfish is actually a metaphor for you. It's about you saving your life. And when you can be an example for yourself, you can be an example to others. And you're right, you can't save them all. They're not meant for all of you to save. But that's got to be here nor there. And that's part of life too. And that's where the humility comes in. Because we want to save everybody's life. We want everybody's lives to be better. We want to grow together. The more we get together, the happier we'll be, right? Mary, Mary, sing Ring Around the Roses and stuff, right? So, unlike on a merry-go-round. And so, but that's what it is. And we stay on our path. We keep trucking along. And, we plant our seeds along the way, smell the roses along the way. And this is on our life, here into eternity. And so, unprecedented times. Don't get caught up in too much in the here and now, in the sense that where you're feeling bogged down, but you in the sense that you do focus on the here and now, because it's like think globally and act locally. Yeah, take action right here. Don't get caught up in all the dreams, the nightmares that could go happen. You take action. You do what you can with what you have right where you are, right? As the same famous quote goes. And design it. This does take having the discipline to take the time out, set it aside, and schedule it. Because what you schedule becomes real. Because otherwise it's just all talk. And a lot of people, it's like, yeah. Okay, well then that's what your life is going to be. It's going to be a yeah. And you're going to come back to me tomorrow. You're going to come back to me next week. And you're going to be complaining with the same sad story that you could have done something. And you're going to wait till it's too late. And then you're going to try it when it is too late. And then it is too late. And then you can't do it, and then there you go. You just had a self-fulfilling prophecy of you being the loser, and that's your life. Right? So only the strong survive. And that's a choice you get to make. And that's all I can say. And so it's like, thank you for hearing me out. And now the choice is yours. But you already know that you have the ability within yourself, the potential within yourself, and you can't tell me nothing or change my mind about it. Because you're a powerful human being and you deserve the best. So get out there, create the life of your dreams. In quarantine, in an extraordinary life, quarantine or no quarantine, this too shall pass. You're going to have a better quality life, and the better quality life begins with you, right? Jesus said that, and that the kingdom of heaven is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. So it's about you generating. It's about you bringing the joy, bringing the passion, bringing the motivation, bringing the enthusiasm to life, right? Because most people are not going to do it. Most people are just, sheep in a negative way. They just kind of go with the herd, moo, because they've given up. They have this learned helplessness. Bless their heart and grace for them. And you can show them that it doesn't have to be that way. It can be another way. It can be a different way. So I do want you to take this to heart. There's something else I was going to mention. I'm going to try to remember right now because I'm only taking one take. So thank you so far for sticking with me. And if we do end this video early, relatively speaking, then so be it. But unprecedented times, humanity has seen things like this before. As I was alluding back to the point that this is nothing new that the world hasn't ever seen before. Something you've seen before, or maybe something you haven't seen before, but the world has seen it before. We've seen pandemics. We've seen things that wipe out people, and there's crazy things that are going on to this day, right? Even without this sickness, people were still getting flu badly from the sickness. There's mass abortions, whatever your political stance or spiritual, religious stance on that. Things die every day. There's wars, there's genocides, right? Oh, it's just when it happens to you, right? Yeah, that's understandable. You can't take on the whole world, right? But you can change yourself, and you can make a difference, and you can start that butterfly effect, right? Where you begin to leave a legacy of that you are going to be a force for good. That starts with loving with freedom, and that's what I meant that. And it's hard to get to that place because the world's full of hate, it's full of fear and the unknown. But you have to make the decision within yourself that you're going to go forward and you're going to be the best that you can be. And yes, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to flub up, but that's okay. You get back on your horse and you just keep fighting the good fight, right? No boxer, no fighter gets in a fight without getting punched once. It might happen in a fight or two, but in the length of your career, you're going to get punched, and you're going to have to see what you're made of. And you're going to get up off the canvas, you're going to have to, you're going to absorb the punch, take it like a man, and move forward and give it back. And you keep giving it back until it back downs or surrenders, throws in the towel, or it lays down, or you knock it out. Throat punch, right? So that's what happened. Grow up and love with freedom. Thank you for watching. Xavier Garcia. See you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.